Welcome to Intuitive Connection, where spirituality and psychology meet to help you be your best and brightest self. I'm your host, Victoria Shaw, and in each episode, I'll help you to awaken your own inner wisdom, step into your power, and live a more divinely inspired life. You're here to let your inner light shine. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello and welcome to Intuitive Connection. Today we're going to talk about a topic, nothing like we've ever covered before, but something that I think is going to be really helpful and potentially even a little bit overdue. And it is how to receive a compliment. Yep, true story. How we can give people in the outside world, our friends, our family, our acquaintances, random strangers, right, permission to say and think nice things about us, and how we can learn to take in the kudos that the world wants to share with us. We're going to talk about some of the blocks that people have to receiving compliments, and we're also going to talk about this from that more sort of philosophical, metaphysical perspective of if you understand, right, that people in the outside world are just responding to you, just responding to your energy, and if you recognize too that the only person that really needs to honor you is you, right? Then you might wonder, well, what's so great about receiving a compliment, right? Victoria, you tell us all the time, at least I think I do. I know I share this with my clients a lot, is that we can't hang our value or worth on what somebody else thinks, right? And someone else's opinion of us, I really truly believe in some respects is none of our business because it's going to be through their lens. It's going to be through their conditioning. And really, the only one that you have to have that loving relationship is yourself, right? You want to love you. However, it is super amazing and nice and validating and comfortable and yummy when we do find people in the world that reflect back our own magnificence. It is a really, truly amazing thing. And yours truly went through a period of time this past winter when I was struggling a little bit. And one of the things that was happening that was so amazing and so helpful, it's going to make me a little emotional, is all the people in my world that were just spontaneously saying nice things about me. And then not just any nice things, not just like, hey, I like your hair today. Although, go ahead, tell me you like my hair. My hair has always been something I'm insecure about, so bring it on. But these were actually really deep things that really made me grateful to feel that people were perceiving me, or at least sharing perceptions of me in ways that I really wanted to be seen. And sometimes even the compliments awoken something in me like, wow, really? You think that? Yeah, like I would love that to be true about myself. And maybe it is true about myself. And I'm really, really going to take that in. And thank you. And I think when compliments in the world come like that, when they are ways that the people around us reflect back our inner magnificence, when we can take them in and run with them, that is a magical thing. And it's a magical way to relate with others. And it's not, again, about needing that external validation. It's about just allowing it in when it comes, right? So it's very different. And we're not working ourselves into a pretzel, either trying to, get those compliments so that we can feel good about ourselves, because a lot of times those compliments come when we already feel good about ourselves already, at least a little bit, and we surround ourselves with people who are ready, willing, and able to reflect that back to us. Got it? I also think that learning to receive a compliment is a magical thing for the other person too, because, and give compliments as well, right? Because it really feels good to make other people feel good. And so when someone notices something special about you, when someone honors something, even if it's something that you don't even value about yourself, but, that feels pretty good when they say it, right? When we can take that in, we give other people an opportunity, right, to do something that feels good to them as well, right? So it's a win-win. Sometimes, people will block and deflect a compliment. And we're going to talk about that too, because there are certain blocks that we have from really allowing those compliments to come in. And also, my friends, some of us, because of those blocks, don't even attract those compliments in the first place. Meaning, if you are afraid to receive, you may, due to the law of attraction, find yourself surrounded by people that are not complimenting you at all. In fact, if you're used to people censuring you and saying things that are unkind, you might be attracting that as well. So learning to receive and accept a compliment, right, is also going to kind of shift and change our orientation potentially with the people around us, the people that we let into our world, and the reflections of ourselves in other people's eyeballs, right? That we want to invite back into our space. So, some common blocks to receiving a compliment can be things like false modesty, habit, right? Maybe you've just been taught that it's, the best way to, when someone compliments you is say, no, 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 that's not true, right? And kind of shut it down. Sometimes we do that because we're uncomfortable. And we'll talk about that too. But sometimes we just do it out of habit. We've been taught. Maybe we've watched other people in our lives play it down. And again, there's a difference between, hey, I think you're beautiful, in that dress, and you saying, I know, aren't I so pretty? I'm so amazing. I'm the most beautiful person in the world. And, it's obvious that you would think so. No, that probably is not the ideal response, right? Ooh, and that probably also, though I'm always a fan of being a fan of yourself, I truly am. I think sometimes when people overcompensate, it's because deep down inside, they're not really a fan, right? But that's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about that heartfelt thank you. Wow, that makes me feel great. I spent a lot of time into picking this dress out today. Or maybe I wasn't actually sure about this dress. And so you saying that it looks lovely, wow, that just made my day, right? And when we can respond to a compliment that way, again, we can take it in. And we can also give that gift back without pushing or trying to that person who most likely, wanted to give us a little bit of sunshine, and then we can reflect that back to them. Sometimes we're afraid to receive compliments, right? Because we're worried there might be strings. We are worried that they might be disingenuine. We're worried, that they might be fake. And so we shut it down, right? Or there might be another ulterior motive. And if that's been your conditioning, that maybe those have been your experiences or that's what you've been taught, it can sometimes be hard to receive a compliment. Right? First of all, you can always be polite and say thank you. And if it's a backhanded compliment, please don't take that in. But most of the time, I really think that, again, when we open ourselves up to receive and we believe that it's possible and we believe that we are worthy and beautiful in other people's eyes, right? Because we believe that about ourselves, at least a little tiny bit, we can start to attract in those people that really want to reflect back our own inner magnificence. And when we have those experiences and those things come, we definitely want to be able to take that in freely and lovingly. If a compliment, however, doesn't feel good to you and it feels a little bit off, or it feels like one of those compliments that isn't really, or, you're in the case of someone who always gives you a compliment because they want 12 back, well, you may want to think about that. But the compliment, part of the compliment, take it in, allow it, and know too that when anyone gives you a gift, you can cut the strings too, right? You can take the gift and let the rest go. And if you're in a particular relationship where gifts are particularly string attached, then again, you may want to reconsider that relationship. But sometimes this becomes our conditioning, and we think everything has strings. And most likely, my beautiful friend, there are many people out in that world that love you just as you are and want to celebrate you with you and share. No strings attached. For reals. Sometimes we deflect a compliment because we don't feel worthy, right? We don't feel like we're enough deep inside. Or the guides say we're a little addicted to this idea of being unworthy, right? And we don't want anyone to rock our boat by telling us otherwise, right? Like you look so good in those pants. No, I have a fat butt. Like my butt doesn't look good in any pants. What are you talking about, right? That would recognize that on some level, you got some egoic addiction to, right, what's wrong with you. And if that's the case, be kind to yourself, right? Be kind to yourself, because awareness is the first part. And we all got parts of our personality, right, that are a little bit stymied, that are a little bit stuck, that are a little bit recalcitrant, that, they don't want to go with the flow of surrendering to our highest, greatest purpose. And, the best way to deal with those parts is to be aware of them, to love them, and to coax them out gently, right? But to identify with them. And if it is truly that you feel unworthy, then more than anything else, please, 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 please get in the habit of taking those compliments in. Not because you need the other person to tell you how worthy you are, but because sometimes other people, with the way they see you and love you and care about you, reminds you what you already know to be true inside, right? It's a reflection of your magnificence. And you get to pick and choose, my friends, which reflections that you want to take in and which ones you want to let go. So if someone compliments you for something that you don't think is very important, and something that's important to them, or something that feels not right to you, like, wow, you're such a ball breaker, and whatever that means, and that's not something you resonate with, it's okay not to take in those things. You can honor that, if it's a sincere compliment, and that one sounds like it probably was not, you can honor that that's how someone sees you in their eyes, and that's valuable to them, right? But you don't have to take everything in. But the ones that feel truly good, please, please, please let those in. And no matter how quote unquote unworthy you feel, if someone else sees your worth and value in a way that you want to be perceived, right? That is a sign that a part of you already knows just how amazing you are and just wants you to tap back in more and more and more to reawaken that part that's been a little bit sleepy. Sometimes, too, we deflect compliments because we feel a little bit of pressure, right? A little bit of pressure to living up to the ideal that it sets, right? So if your teacher tells you, wow, this is the best paper I've ever read, like, I've been in teaching for 30 years and this paper on this topic, oh my God, right? That's something it's easy to take in at first, but it can be really hard because now you think, I always got to do this, right? Because human beings tend to think, in hierarchy and structure and standards. And we feel that if someone sees me a particular way, they're going to have expectations. My friends, the guides say, in this particular case, which you have to look at back as your own expectations, where are you being a perfectionist? Where are you holding yourself to increasingly high and impossible standards, right? That's usually what that pressure comes from. It usually comes from you. So be kind to yourself and be kind to that part of yourself that feels like they have to be perfect. And remember, somebody can see something beautiful in you one moment, and the next moment, you can be doing something totally else. We are multifaceted beings, but the truth of who you really are is always you at your beautiful best. It's true. So your magnificent self, that's who you really are. And the rest of it is fine. It's part of your humanness. Love the heck out of it. But also know there is no pressure while here on earth to be perfect, because perfect is just not a thing when we're doing the human dance. True story. Inside, you're exactly perfect as you are. So, as I was saying before, when you are receiving compliments, you really do get to choose what you want to take in and what you want to let go. So I would focus on the ones that resonate, the ones that make you feel good, the ones that make you smile, the ones that make you go, wow, and really let those suckers in. During this period of time, I started doing something that was pretty fun and pretty magnificent. When I would get a compliment that resonated, I would write it down. And I started to collect a little book of those compliments. And when I was feeling like I needed a little bit of a boost in that self-esteem, I would go back and I would read my list. And I still have a few of them taped around my house, true story. One of them might even become my next tattoo. And, I'm so grateful to have surrounded myself with such wonderful and loving people that do want to share. But it's also important to know, I know that I could not have created this if I wasn't open to receive. Okay? And you can be open to receive too. Remember that all the people in our world are potential mirrors for what's going on within us. And when we get mirrored back, right, by other people, how we want to be perceived, how we want to be seen, how we want to, see ourselves, it can be an amazing thing and it can really increase our sense of well-being. And again, as I said before, it can also help the other guy too, because when we share a love fest with one another, we're communicating on the highest, souliest level, right? And that feels really good for everyone. So when you receive a sincere compliment, right, and you can take it in, you are allowing that other person that beautiful gift of loving you, and you can love them in return. And you or helping you to love yourself. I think that's even better. And the guides say, right? So it's helping increase the love in both directions, right? So the last thing I want to talk about is what makes a good compliment, because now we've talked about the first part of this podcast, all about how to receive. And I really want you to receive. And I really want you to start thinking about, what makes your soul shine and bringing that in. And by the way, and I should have said this at the outset, compliments are not just limited to other people. We can also tune in and compliment ourselves. True story. And one of the things that I did also during this funky period, and I might have talked about this as well on some other episodes, but it was the bomb, is that I spent a lot of time writing down beautiful compliments from me to me over and over again. Victoria, you are beautiful. Victoria, I love you. Victoria, you are lovable. Victoria, you are creative. Victoria, you are inspiring. True story. And even as I start to say that to myself, right, my vibe goes up. I feel good because at the end of the day, the person that we most want to experience the love from is ourself. It's the truth. You may think you're looking for it out there. And again, when you get it out there, it can feel really good, but only because it's a reflection of the love that you are made of and the love, right, that you want to have for you. So please add to your compliment diary, right? Compliments that you would like to give to yours truly. And it's okay to say, I am this and I am that. That is beautiful too. And sometimes I really do like to do it in the third person though, right? Where you give it to yourself. But the guys are also saying it's really powerful to say, I am beautiful and I am powerful and I am lovable, because that's when we really, truly, I feel it. I feel it even more, can get in the vibe. So I'm so glad they gave us that correction, right? But the last thing I want to talk about too, because now you know how good a compliment feels, whether you're complimenting yourself or someone else or receiving a compliment for someone else. So now let's talk a little bit about what really makes a good compliment, right? Both to receive it from others, but also to give it to others from ourselves. And really when we're complimenting others, really a little goes a long way. And so, I often like people's clothes and shoes and outfits, and I feel good when people compliment me on those too. So the sky's really the limit of anything that you notice about somebody else and you have the moment to say something good. Saying something good is a good thing. It's a really good thing. And most people are going to enjoy whatever you compliment them on, especially if, or mainly if, it's sincere. So the first step is in giving a compliment is give a compliment that's sincere, because people can feel the difference, right? If it's not a sincere compliment, if it's flattery because you want to get something in return or you think you should, it's going to have a lower vibration. And look, there are some worlds in which we have to give fake compliments. Today I was at the farmer's market and, the salesman was thanking me 1,000 times for buying the flowers. And it was very nice and very sweet. But guys, I'm there every week and they have the best flowers and I always buy them and they're beautiful flowers. And though I appreciated the thank you, the first time, I'm not 100% sure it was genuine. Maybe it was. Maybe he's just so grateful to have customers. And if so, I will take that in gladly. But there are times, right, when we do give disingenuine compliments because it's socially expected. And that's fine. But that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about the ones that make your heart sing, that are true for you. When I said back to him, "You are very welcome. I love your flowers," I meant it. They are beautiful flowers. And every week when I come home with my bouquet, I am so grateful for that vendor. And they're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful buds, right? They're just amazing. So the first thing is that it's sincere, that it's genuine, that it's honest, that it's really something that you do feel called to share. And the second important thing is give it freely, right? When we give a compliment, if we give a compliment, I love your dress because you want someone to notice your new haircut or your shoes, well, you've given it with strings. And oftentimes when we give freely, that opens us up to receive in the same way, right? And that feels a lot better to everyone. So when you give a compliment, give it without any expectation. And know too, sometimes people are blockers. They are defectors. They are deflectors, rather. They are in a place in their lives where it's hard for them to take it in. Please know it's not about you. It's not about you. And you give the compliment freely, you let it go. And again, if you feel like a lot of times you're complimenting someone and it's getting splattered back in your face, you can send your energy and light somewhere else. But when we give, we always want to give without strings attached. Giving and receiving compliments, I think, is one of the most beautiful ways to connect with another human being. And when it happens authentically and naturally, I think it makes our hearts expand and hopefully is a beautiful gift for the other person as well. No matter what your conditioning around compliments is, I really do invite you to take some time, if this speaks to you, of course, to listen a little more closely to the people in your world that want to give you some love, right? Bring it in. Know that it is truly unconditional, right? When you can take it in. If it's not unconditional, you can still take in the part that is. And set that intention to allow yourself to receive these compliments more and more. Remember too that what we see in the external world is often a reflection of how we treat and perceive ourselves. So if you are finding that most people in the mirror in the outside world are giving you feedback that feels really uncomfortable, please make sure, one, you don't need to have those people in your life. But two, please look inside. Give yourself some love, care, and attention. And notice too how you're talking to yourself and how you're treating yourself. And if you find yourself being overly hard on yourself, please be kind, please be loving, and then set the intention to gently awaken yourself up to more of your own loving divine nature, because you really deserve that. Friends, receiving a compliment, giving a compliment is a magical thing. So I invite you now, over the next couple of days, if you take the assignment, right, try to at least give and receive 5 or 6 compliments, and look for them because they'll be everywhere. And in the receiving mode, you can feel in, of course, if they feel like things you want to just try on for size and, put back on the rack, or the ones that you really want to add to your wardrobe. You can use that level of discernment. Just take in what really, really resonates. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and have some fun with sharing and spreading the love. All right, that is all I have for you today. I would love to get your feedback. I would love to get your experiences on compliments. And I would love to hear in the Facebook group about, your own blocks or feelings around sharing. So anyway, that's all that wants to come through. Thanks for tuning in, and namaste. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that you found joy, strength, inspiration, and clarity from today's episode. If you'd like to learn more and connect with an amazing group of like-minded souls, please join us over on Facebook in the Intuitive Connection Community Facebook group, where we explore these topics in deeper detail, have additional live teachings, and host Facebook Lives with our amazing guests. I hope to see you there. And of course, if you want to learn more about me or the work that I do, please check out my webpage, victoriashawintuitive.com. Thank you so much again, and namaste.